Guys, fat loss workouts for beginners, or should I just scrap that completely? Because when it comes to doing any form of workout, the #1 goal should be building muscle or preserving muscle tissue. And you couldn't be in anywhere better than this playground or any other gym that is set up with plenty of machines and plenty of dumbbells. Because when it comes to people choosing to get in shape, they suddenly change everything about their workout to be fat loss orientated. They think it's got to be lots and lots of exercises, very minimal rest, going crazy at the gym, burning lots of calories, but they forget one thing. What actually built the muscle in the first place is the thing that's going to keep it. So there's some fundamental things that you need to take into consideration when you are starting to lose body fat and you're starting to lose weight. I've talked to this in great length in many other of my videos and in articles on M10 Life. But fat loss really should be about lifting weights, and it should be about the manipulation of training frequency, so how often you train. It should be the manipulation of some level of cardiovascular training, if necessary, and manipulation of nutritional variables. One being keeping protein in there so that you are preserving muscle tissue and not reducing your calories at a stupid rate. So when we have clients coming in the foundational levels, especially from a beginner's perspective, our #1 goal is to build muscle tissue. Now, when people aren't very strong, we can afford to take a little bit less rest because they don't need the sort of recovery that someone like me would need, because I'm lifting a lot more load and my muscles need a lot more recovery time. As I'm getting into prep, for example, or getting ready for a show, the most important thing for me at that given time is that I can still lift a large amount of weight and build my level of conditioning up so that I can take minimal rest and keep progressing, but still keeping load. I don't drop the load I'm lifting to 80% and then just crack out loads of sets and loads of reps, because then I potentially have to run the risk of eating into muscle tissue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about how I would set up a fat loss training program for a beginner. And so it will have the concepts in there of building muscle tissue, increasing output over time. But realistically, when we do a fat loss, a beginner's workout, for fat loss, it's really a muscle building workout, and the variables of nutrition and any level of cardio, and then how much work we give you over time is the most important thing. So in some cases, if somebody's building muscle tissue and dropping body fat and eating a good diet that we've set out for them and doing very, very well in terms of how they're dropping the body fat and increasing muscle tissue, we don't change it. Just because they want to lose body fat doesn't mean we need to go down any crazy kind of different route. So I'm sat on the line leg curl now, all right? Over on the far side of the gym, we have the incline chest press. I like with beginners to try and get you to use as many machines as possible. Why? Because stability is going to be an issue because you're new to training. Stability in the hips, the pelvis, the glute muscles, they're all going to be very, very weak. So getting you to do exercises such as squats, split squats straight away, getting you to do things like deadlifts or Romanian deadlifts and all the stuff that you see all over the place, it's too complex, and when it's too complex, it's going to cause an injury, and you're not going to get the most benefit from it. So where possible as a beginner, make sure you lock yourself into machines. So I'm going to give you an example. We're going to start on the line leg curl, and what I would do as a beginner is I wouldn't get you doing 12, 15, 20 repetitions. Why? Because you're not going to lift enough load, and I want you to get stronger. So 8 to 10 repetitions would be perfect. So you'd go on the line leg curl. I've got plenty of videos showing you technically what you need to do. You'd go 8 to 10 repetitions, and then you would get up after working as hard as you possibly can, and you'd take a shift over and require just enough time to go from one machine to the next. Set yourself up in the machine, 8 to 10 repetitions. And the goal in here is to perform each exercise or execute every exercise to the best of your that you can possibly do. Keep a log of what weights you're lifting, and then keep your rest time after going backwards and forwards. So from that exercise to the line leg curl to here, keep your rest time to about 45 seconds. Write down the weight that you're lifting, take the 45 seconds, go back over to the line leg curl. If somebody else is using it, ask them, don't be afraid, can you jump in? And then you can start working alongside other people in the gym. So that would be your first pairing. One of the things with beginners workouts, honestly, if you're pretty new to training, I wouldn't give you more than one workout and get you to do it on a Monday and a Wednesday and a Friday. 3 days a week is absolutely perfect. So the second pairing, if we're going to do a full body workout, is we've got a leg extension. You can lock yourself in, you can learn how to execute this exercise. Again, there is another YouTube video about how to train your legs, and this is in there. So you do the leg extension. In this case, 10 to 12 repetitions. You get off the leg extension. You find a back piece of equipment. In this case, we're going to use the pull down. You lock yourself in. In this case, we're going to pull to the lower back. And you got this on the YouTube video. Lower lats. And this one, we're going to do 10 to 12 repetitions. You then pause, and that's where you're going to do 45 seconds. Now, for most beginners, we'll do 2 sets. So you'll do 2 of the line leg curl and chest press pairings, resting 45 seconds in between. You'll then come over to the seated leg curl, go leg curl, pull down, 2 sets each, 10 to 12 repetitions of each. Again, making a record of how much weight that you're lifting. And then we're going to move on to the third pairing. We've got a 45-degree hip extension, fantastic exercise. You can lock your hips down, you can train your hamstrings, you can train your glutes. So important to train your hamstrings, glutes, and lower back in a hip extension position. No need for an RDL, no need for dumbbell RDLs, no need for barbell RDLs or deadlifts. In the early stages, stick to something you can lock in. With this, you're going to go to about 10 to 12 repetitions. You're going to lock yourself in, leaning forward. Hit your maximum number of repetitions. Keep the tempo tight. Simply 3 down and 1 up is absolutely perfect. 1, 2, 3, 1. Same for this, same for the line leg curl, leg extension and pull down. You'd move from this straight over to the seated shoulder press. So we move straight over to the seated shoulder press. Again, what's the best thing about this exercise is it's locked in. You can push your shoulder blades into the pad, arms set just above shoulder height, your head can be driven back, no worry about anything structural, driving into the pad, shoulders up, 1, 1, 2, 3, making sure you don't round the shoulders, pushing up. For this, 10 to 12 repetitions. So you've gone from the 45-degree hip extension, you've done your reps, you've come over here, you're making a note of the load that you're lifting. On every occasion, you're doing 2 sets of everything. So you're doing 2 sets of pairing 1, 2 sets of pairing 2, 2 sets of pairing 3, and a beginner by that time, if you've worked as hard as you possibly can, you'll find that your muscles are going to be pretty fatigued. Take yourself over to the Stairmaster, take yourself over to the rower, 15 minutes of 65% intensity work, just to bring in some level of cardio and conditioning so that you are doing an extra little bit of work. And that really has a beginner's workout. You take into consideration you need to get strong, you need to build muscle, you're not ready for complex exercises, you're locked into machines which is safe, you're learning how to train muscles as they should be in function without all the instability going on, you're working up with the weight. The next step would be, in a couple of weeks' time, would be to increase to 3 sets. So that's 3 pairings 1, 3 pairings 2, 3 pairings 3. And then you will find that you're able to increase in weight every single time. You keep getting stronger, you keep working harder between the sets. If you can bring your rest time down to 30 seconds, you're going to make it even harder. And you will find that you might need to drop your cardio down at the end of the session to maybe 10 minutes if you find that you're able to work really, really hard within the workout. 4, 5, 6, even 8 weeks of following that program, consistently losing body fat, your nutrition is bang on, you've watched all the videos on my YouTube channel about how to execute all the exercises, you've followed the articles on M10 Life about what to do with your nutrition, You've even picked up one of the ebooks and you're following it structured to the letter, and you will find as a beginner that you're ready to progress a lot quicker than if you jumped in with a lot of the more advanced exercises and 9 times out of 10 picked up any injuries. So that is as simple as beginner fat loss programming needs to be. You just now need to put the work in.